Good times, there's gonna be good times, good times. I know there's gonna be
Work every day till we meet ends. I fi turn it up on the weekends.
We are back. Welcome, team. We have episode 3 here. We've got Eden Bates, a good friend of mine.
Bates.
Yeah, really weird to call you that because I literally just know you as Eden Jade Fit, and I think everyone does.
Eden Jade Fit _NZ.
Yeah, _NZ. But yeah, so here we are. I've got her on the potty. She's had a pretty cool journey that she's been on, and you know, getting quite big now in the health and fitness industry within NZ, and you know, pretty cool to have you on. So,
Thank you.
how are you? How are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you. My weeks seem like I have Mondays off.
Yeah.
So today feels like a Sunday to me. But I'm like, okay, it's a working day. I've already had like a client call this morning, so it kind of just like gets my A into G, I guess.
Yeah, nice. So, I guess for people that don't know you, or you know, people probably wondering who is this chick? Like, what does she get up to? You know, fill us in on your journey so far. Tell us about what you do. Obviously within the health and fitness industry, and yeah, just give us a bit of a rundown on this, the things you're doing at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, hi everyone. So I have competed in bikini bodybuilding probably for the past few years. A bit of a background into how I actually got into this industry, I guess you call it, is like I grew up with a home gym, like a full setup home gym. Shout out to Dad. Probably bigger than Snap Fitness, shitty fitness. But yeah, pretty privileged in that regards. I just started training with Dad because I fell out of love for all of my sports. I've always been such a sporty person. I did Taekwondo for about 10 years. Not a lot of people know that because I stopped because it wasn't what I loved to do. I felt a bit of pressure to keep going from my dad and my coach and everything. I was playing Prems netball. I was also a high jumper and athletics. I was doing all these sports, and it was just like, I'm like, fuck, I'm not, like, I peaked too early. and then it just, when I didn't put that effort in for any of my training, it just showed that other people the people who did put that effort in, they did grow, whereas I didn't have that ambition to keep going in my sports. So I fell out of that, and yeah, I just stuck to the gym with my dad, just training in our garage, and it got to the point where I just became obsessed with trying to grow mentally and physically. I noticed a huge difference, and then I would go into the garage in the morning in my fucking onesie. In my onesie and my fluffy socks, like my TV socks from my nana, like going. And I just loved it, and so I wanted some direction with my training.
Yep.
And that's when I chose to compete. So I can get into a whole lot of other side of things, but basically we can get into that. But I got wrong advice, didn't actually step on stage the first year due to mental health reasons. And so I tried again the next year, and everyone was like, you're fucking crazy for wanting to do this again and repeat the whole thing. But I got a coach that taught me so much about the journey and how it can be so fun and you can do it in a more sustainable way. And I absolutely loved her approach and stepped on stage, won that show, and I've won all of my shows apart from one. I got second in my last show. So I've competed in a few different federations as well. So it kind of just took off for me, and I started to love it. Obviously, if you're going to do well in something, you do love it a lot more.
100%.
Yeah, and so it's always been my passion. My life has been health and fitness, and I studied it, did a sport and recreation degree, and I started taking on clients seriously this time last year. But I could honestly just keep talking, but I'll let you ask more questions.
We'll rewind a little bit. So obviously growing up playing sports, so where did you grow up? Was it here in Tauranga or?
No, I was in the Tron.
Oh, the Tron.
I was in the Tron.
Yeah, so kind of take us through your journey growing up a little bit, because obviously competing in sports, hard out. was that motivation to train at a young age, obviously, did it transfer over into your life now? Yeah, just take us through like you growing up, where you were brought up, and kind of
Absolutely.
obviously that transition into this more professional life now.
For sure. I think growing up, so it all comes back to like how your parents have raised you, right? And my dad, he is very committed to his job. He's shown such a high degree of like such this high level of work, like ethic. He has such a high work ethic, and that kind of showed two sides of things growing up. It did teach me on a larger scale, like just do what you fucking love at the end of the day, because I saw him coming home from work actually a lot of the time, and he's stressed out, and he's like, but he is so dedicated because he has a family to provide for and stuff like that. He's a coroner now, so a very intense job. There's not many of them around. And he was, from the stories that I've heard, was naturally talented or gifted in a lot of ways with sports. So he had this, I guess, and his dad was like that, you know, so you can kind of see it down, you know, how it moves from generation to generation. So in anything that we do, we give it 100%. And it's like an all or nothing. We don't do things by halves. We don't half-ass things. And then there's my mum, and their relationship is completely like, I don't understand it, but it works. We don't have to understand it. But there's my dad. He's like fully, he's quite a serious person, so loving and giving and everything. And then there's my mum, and she's just an absolute, like, the definition of a crackhead, not on crack. Like, you know, the cool mum on, like, Mum Girl or Mean Girls? Yeah, she's like that. Like,
cool.
Yeah, she's like our best friend. And so she kind of just taught us how to be, both of them did, but like how to be kind towards people and how to use manners and etiquette. And both of them are very, very generous people, I guess. And they grew, we have a family of, there's 4 of us. My dad brought up my older sister and brother. They're my half siblings as well. And all of us are completely different, but we all have a lot of similarities. And they just brought us up in the best way possible, I believe. So thanks to them, I am very passionate about anything that I do, and have strong beliefs that if you don't do what you love, then you're going to fall out of that pretty quickly, and you're not going to stick to it long term. So yeah, growing up, I'm from Hamilton, obviously. We moved to Tauranga when my dad became the boss of the lawyers up in Tauranga. And then they moved back to Hamilton. I stayed here. Dad and I actually lived in the top 10 caravan park in Papamoa for like, a couple of months while they were finding a house. And that was pretty crack up. Dad walking out in his like suit every morning, hits his head on the fucking caravan. Like it was just a sight that's not very, not very common. And then so I did my degree here at Toyohomai Institute of Technology, and I always wanted that Auckland uni life. You know, I'm a party gal as well. I'm kind of transitioning out of it a little bit. I'll go out sober now most of the time. My friends would be like, no, you fucking don't. But did my degree here. Absolutely loved it at Toyohomai because it's like you have your group that moves from year 1 to 3 all together. And I learned a lot, and it instilled a lot of confidence in me to just put my hand up, ask questions, and like, these people are always going to be here for you. They guided us a lot at, shout out to Toyohomai. And I graduated 2016.
Wicked.
No, that was high school.
I was going to say, I think 2016, I'm pretty sure.
How old am I?
Still at school.
Graduated, actually, the graduation was last year, wasn't it? I don't know. Do you want to know like how I actually transitioned then into coaching, coming from just being a competitor?
I think so. Given your parents sort of, they're like obviously cool ways they've brought you up. Like obviously your dad very driven, very determined, hardworking, and your mum kind of balancing that out with that fun lifestyle. Obviously, I know you pretty well now, so that's clear. Like you can see the balance that you've got. But transitioning over into this more professional life, obviously setting up your own business now. Coaching people, I've got a few people underneath you. So do you reckon that sort of transitioned over from them and that whole way they've brought you up?
Definitely. I think what I do now involves aspects from, both sides of how they've brought me up. I've been through a few stages. Like they're not parents that are like, okay, you've got to do a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
They've always been very supportive of what I do and very protective, I guess, because it's taken me it's trial and error, with everything that you do. Everything. And if you don't fail, like I love failing now. I love it because it's shown so much about me, how I deal with certain situations, how much I've grown as a person. For example, I've fucked up a lot, like, and I will be the first to put my hand up when I say, I shouldn't have done a few things that I just decided to do. AKA, anyone know what Arbonne is?
Yes.
Did you do that shit? Did you do that shit? Arbonne.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god. It's the biggest pyramid scheme on earth.
If you've been scammed from Arbonne before, you can thank Eden for that.
Thank you, guys. If you got a paragraph message saying, hey, gal, I do this, I work for myself, blah, 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 and I really think you'd be, you'd be perfect for it. Oh, anywho, yeah, I'm sorry. I actually got approached in Sterling Sports, worked there for a couple of years, and this chick, this American, Canadian, lovely, freaking love it. She'll probably watch this. She came in and she's like, oh my God, like you'd be perfect. And I was like, okay. She's like, let's have a chat. She came to my house and she talked to my mum and I because I told my parents about it and my dad was like, no. Straight up, no. I was like, no, but this is the beginning for me. This is where I see myself. I could make my own business from it. Yeah. And I was everything that she's saying to me is like, I believe in this. Like, she believes in me. Don't worry about what my parents fucking say. I'm like, this random lady from Canada, she sees something in me. I sold her some sneakers and she, they fit her perfectly. She sold me, man. She sold me. And yeah, she had a good chat with my mum. And my mum actually really liked her as a person, but I think that was the biggest argument that I've ever had with my parents. And that was also the pivotal point of when I decided that I wanted to be a woman and make my own decisions. Yep. I still remember the fucking day. I remember all the emotions and everything, and I was screaming at them because I wanted to do this so bad. And they were like, Eden, this is not a good idea. And then at the end of the day, they said, fine, fuck it. If you want to do it, you do it, but you're going to learn, basically. And I did. I learned.
Sorry, Christian, do you think that maybe she didn't know either, that, like, she was kind of believed in it just as much as you did? This Arbonne lady that
what she didn't know.
Oh, well, isn't it like just like a bit of a scam kind of thing?
So she was a national.
Oh, so she knew.
She knew.
Oh, right.
She was good at her job.
She's cheeky bitch.
No, she's actually such a lovely person. Has a beautiful family. I met all of them, and yeah, we actually became quite good friends. But yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing, and I actually ended up getting a couple like consultants under me for that. It was just it's like Tupperware. Like you go and you do your parties, and I was talking about products that I didn't really even know what they were. Yep. And I came to learn that now managing a supplement store, there's a lot of bullshit in those supplements that you don't necessarily need. They're like gold standard. Like some of them are really like amazing. Their values about like reducing the carbon footprint, amazing. Cool, but just not for me, and I understand that now. So I've gone through a lot of different things. For example, I've always had this like very entrepreneurial mindset. I did a recycling denim thing where I just went to the op shop, bought denim, like ripped holes in it, tried to sell it on Instagram. What have I done? I've sold diaries with my best friend. That actually was really cool because it was one of our most recent things. I've just tried so much, and when it comes to coaching, I'll quickly run over the backstory of actually how how it's transitioned.
How you transition.
So it was going to get pretty deep pretty fast. This time last year, like my life, you probably know a bit about this. My life has done like a 180 in terms of like my position in life and financial position, work position, everything. I've been in a couple positions in life where I have felt so low. I've been through depression and anxiety, as you have touched on before, and it's not something that we have to be afraid to talk about now. But it kind of relapsed a little bit due to everything is a choice. Everything in life is, what happens is because we choose to do something or we choose to put out that vibe. And we're manifesting this shit into our life. So obviously what I was putting out there wasn't necessarily what I needed or what would serve me best. And so I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was just doing this because I thought this is making decisions based off of where I thought I should be. And this led me to a point where last year I got a job, and again, sparkly object syndrome. I had two options, but I went with this job. Should I say where it was? Shit Nation.
If you want.
Fit Nation.
Got nothing against them. I don't really know who they are, but
Down there. Anyway. Okay, so I got a job there. And they promised me, so I was fresh out of uni. They put me on an independent contract. The thing is, if I'm completely honest with me, people have a lot of trust in me because I'm a very open, transparent person. And people also then expect a lot of me or just leave me to be. And without a lot of guidance, like they'll just be like, oh, Eden's got it. Because I have this confidence about me. They're like, she's fucking got it. She knows what she's doing, right? And in some regards, yes. In some regards, I ask for help a lot. I do. But they just left me to my own regards, and it was around Christmas, New Year's time last year. Sorry. And I had no clients, and I dropped everything. I was going to do post-grad in Auckland for this, but I dropped everything because I thought this is it. This is my coaching career. It's taking off. They promised me so much. And, yeah, I got no clients. And then so the golden ticket for me was apparently to I got advised to do 2 weeks of unlimited coaching for $47 for anyone.
that's rough.
Yeah, and I was already exhausted. I was underweight from competing, and I struggled to put on weight again, so I was already quite underweight. Then they had me doing this. I got mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. I had about 15 clients at once doing PT whenever they wanted for $47. Big fuck up. And I just did it because I thought, all right, if this is going to get, at the end of the day, they just want people in the door, right?
Yeah.
I struggled to see that. And they were just, in a way, I guess, using me and my abilities and skills. And then the next thing was, okay, Eden, you're struggling to get money. I would cry to them and be like, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't live. I can't pay rent. So their grand idea was for me to do 3 spin classes a day for 4 days in a row, along with my own training. And then I did that and functional fitness. And then it was like, oh shit, she's still not got enough money coming in because she's not getting clients after that 2 weeks. People just want what they want, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks, sweet, got 2 weeks. I learned a lot because I'll go all in. Then they'll fuck off because they got what they want. You know, some people aren't in it for the long haul. That's okay. And then they were like, all right, let's chuck you on desk work hours. So I was at the gym from probably 5 a.m. 5 a.m. to sometimes doing my own work as well, like 10 p.m. at night. And I would leave maybe for like 20 minutes for a lunch break. And that was for a few months. And as you can tell,
That's crazy.
that's a lot for one person. And I would go to them and I would cry and say, I don't know what to do. And they'd be like, it's okay, I've been at this point. It's okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I believed them. But my intuition was like, Eden, get out. And like, I couldn't even pay rent. My best friend, she was helping me cover rent. I didn't tell my parents. Sorry, mum and dad, but I did lie to them about a few. Not lie, I just left out a few of the pieces. I said I was getting a few more hours of work than I was, just so they didn't worry because they knew that I've been in this bad position before. And I didn't want them to stress, so it'll change. So I started my online coaching. That's what I was getting to. I started my online coaching then because I was like, okay, I need to push this.
Yeah. Was that sort of that pivotal moment for you? Just fuck it, I'm just gonna go all in and trust my gut now. And
Yeah, I was still working, but I was like, shit, I need more money. So I was doing that plus. That's why I was staying so long at the gym because I had a little office space there. So I was fucking hustling, like Gary Vee style, as you know, like doing the reach outs. I was messaging people. Hey, I've got an 8-week challenge. I do all of my marketing myself. I learn off YouTube. I learn off anything I can, other people. And the 8-week challenge was an absolute flop. I got like 4 people paying like $30 a week for so much work. I did all of the stuff prior to the challenge starting. Had a really cool prize at the end. Actually, one of them was like a 138 voucher, I think. Yeah.
T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Little
Hannah
plug,
actually ended up getting a cap with the voucher like last week.
Yeah.
Crazy. And so, I was doing that. So because it was coming from a place of lack, my business was coming from a place of like, I need this. I need these clients. I don't know what to do if I don't have these clients. So I was pushing, and it, I guess everything was just resistance. I was working off resistance. And at the end of the day, like I said before, things are going to fuck out if that's the case. So then I decided to move to Auckland.
Yep.
I got a job opportunity. In between all this, I'm a strong believer in, that's when I started to learn about manifestation. I was like, look, if other people are doing it and it seems to work for them,
Yeah, just put in your energy where it needs to be.
right? 100%. And like, I didn't really understand. And you know how people are a bit funny to actually talk about it?
Yeah, it is a tricky one. You mentioned manifestation to people and they kind of look at you like, oh, you're a bit of a hippie, are you? Like, get away from me. Like, do you charge your crystals
Like
at night
we're
or
sitting
something?
here all the time like this.
Like,
No, sorry, middle fingers.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, each to their
But
own.
that's not
but
middle. Yeah.
yeah.
Each to their own. And so I was like, look, I'm going to give it a go. Started manifesting. I would cry in my room, just release it. And then I'm like, positive thinking. This is where I want my life to be. This is what I see for myself.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, what can I do about it? Hit up one of the head judges from IFBB, Bodybuilding Federation. He said, this is where it got weird. This is where I started to believe, like, this shit's good. I messaged him and I said, hey, like straight after a meditation, any chance, I'm thinking of moving to Auckland because I've always wanted to, any chance that there's any work going at your gym? Because I trained at Flex Fitness and CBD in Auckland like once.
Yep.
And he goes, hey Eden, the girl that has been working for us for the past 2 years handed in a resignation about 20 minutes prior
Wow.
to me messaging, and she's going back to the UK, so how about you come in for an interview?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what to think. And so, surely enough, that weekend went up to Auckland. I actually was in a storm, and I walked the wrong way in the storm for half an hour. So I turned up. I'm not good with direction today. I parked literally just around the corner from the gym too.
Yeah, but Auckland, if you don't know Auckland, like, Auckland is so confusing.
It is. It was.
And people probably listening in Auckland will be like, nah. It's easy. But no, when you come from a small place and you go up to Auckland.
I was so confused. Yeah, walking down by the uni in town.
Yeah.
And I walked in and had a really good interview. He goes, I've got to interview one more person, but I'm pretty confident, you got it. So anyway, I got the job, moved up to Auckland in like a few weeks, had to find a place, found a really good place with awesome flatmates. I, worked there as a full-time just membership consultant. Weirdly enough again, about 1 month into the job, I got promoted to manager.
Far out.
Yeah. Shit was happening behind the scenes there. I won't say too much though. It is what it is. And so I moved into the manager's position, and then it was a relapse again. So my life over the past 12 months has been so interchangeable. I can't even explain how up
and down.
And yeah, I got really mentally drained and really physically drained again. I was competing again. So add that onto the mix, and I was absolutely, it wasn't good. So I knew I had to do something about it. And then I started manifesting. I'm always manifesting. Everything is manifestation all the time. And my gut was saying, you can't stay here. You can't stay here. You can't. This is not where you're meant to be. And I'm like, okay, again, this reminded me I've got to pick up my coaching. I invested a lot into my business and getting a business coach, mindset coach. Do you know Rob Dial, the mindset mentor? He's a huge podcast.
I think we've spoken about it.
Yeah, he's my mentor, so that was amazing. He showed me a way, like how coaching is it's not just health and fitness. It's not just prescribing someone a program for short-term gains or short-term benefits. I learnt a lot within the past 4 months, and anyway, got out of Auckland. I had to leave, and never thought I would get back into the flat that I'm in now. And I ended up back in the same flat that's on the beach in the Mount because my flatmate was moving back to Australia in 2 weeks' time. So
you've done a full circle and
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back, which is crazy, beyond crazy. But when you listen to yourself, the universe will give you exactly what you need. I truly believe that. And with the guidance of my mentor, my coaching is now clients that I have this on the back of my phone. I made this.
Yeah.
It says they need me because my coaching is so much about mindset. If you get this right up here, first, everything flows off of that. So I'm a mindset coach. I'm a nutrition coach. I'm a fitness coach. I work with clients for a minimum of 3 months. That's bare minimum to get a full transformation. It's mind and body. I call it TX3 fitness because it's like T times 3, like train to transform. So training our mind and our body to be 3 times stronger. Not many people know that because I don't really say TX3 fitness. People just know me as me. And I'm getting people coming to me and just I want you as a coach. So we jump on a call, we have a chat like I did this morning. We say, all right, let's do it. But I am now in a position where I have to say no to some people. Because I'm taking on less clients, charging more. That's just how it is. I've invested a lot of time and energy into this business, education, self-education, and, mentorship. And it says they need me because I wish that I had a coach when I was in that low point. That was how I am now, that could guide me through everything. So that's why I do what I do. And that was a bit of a spiel for you, but...
That's good. That's wicked. And I think, obviously, that whole pivotal moment for you and moving back, especially with the whole mindset thing, because obviously, I think what I see from you now as well, especially hearing about your clients, and I see it online, like they post, and I know a few people underneath you, which is real cool.
Yeah.
And, they seem stoked with where they're getting to. I've seen their transformations. And obviously, training myself, like, we know that a lot of it is that if you don't have it up here, you're never going to make that connection. And that's the hardest thing. And, we talk about it in our gym as well. You can be a coach, but then you can also be a leader at the same time. And I think a lot of people mistake that whole journey. Like, they're so focused on pushing themselves out onto others to try coach them, but they're not actually, realizing the other side of it. Like, there's a lot more to it. And I think that's what we've seen with you now. And like what you've just spoken about, it's so cool, is that you're actually leading these people through their journey, and I think James Smith breaks it down as well. I know you listen to him as well.
I fucking love him.
And what he talks about, like, a lot of people will go and they want personal training, they want a coach or a little bit of guidance, and, they might go in and say, oh, I want to lose weight. But really, deep down, there's all these insecurities built up, or there's actually a reason. And so I think for you, do you find these reasons with your clients and, like, obviously working with them, from that mindset perspective? Yeah, do you kind of go through them with that at all?
100%. I'll tap into that from the moment we have our first conversation.
Yep.
For example, like my onboarding calls, I call them success calls because I know regardless, they're going to leave that call with more value than they had before they stepped into that call, and that's why I don't really say the word consult. I'm like, all right, I just want to figure out what's going on here. Not necessarily diagnosing anything, but just getting them to talk about it. And I think that the best coaches in the world, they're listeners, and you don't need to say much. I talk a lot.
Yeah.
But when I need to, I'll just shut my mouth. Because the best way to overcome something is by talking about it and by getting them just to realize, holy shit, it's like you said, it's a lot deeper than what I thought. Like weight loss, it's like, oh, okay. And then it stems back, and then it's like, oh, okay, I binge eat. And then it's like, hold on, where's the binge eating come from? And it's like, oh, okay, like lack of education. And then it's self-doubt. And then it's, you know, going back to how I was brought up with my parents' attachment styles.
Yeah.
It literally goes way
It's
back.
a lot deeper, than what people think.
A lot deeper.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, here's a fucking fat loss 4-week program.
Yeah.
What are they going to do after the 4-week program? If I can go back and binge eat and sit on the couch and eat a block of chocolate, like it's not going to change anything.
No.
So yeah.
Sorry, can you give some more examples of that? Because that's pretty cool. I've thought of similar things. Like I know, for example, I grew up in my mum is full Samoan, right? She grew up in a family that didn't have much. So we were always taught, don't waste food, you know, you never leave leftovers, all that sort of stuff. And I notice now even, I carry on that same mindset without even thinking about it. You don't waste food. If there's food left over, you finish it, because even if you're not hungry,
Yeah, you get it
you
in
know?
ya.
Yeah, because that's what you were taught your whole life, and it becomes like a habit.
habit.
Yeah,
For sure. Like other examples of,
that sort of stuff.
give me a
I think
give
from,
me a situation.
from a psychological perspective, like what you were talking about with obviously growing up and, you know, people having just that kind of inbred into them. I think that's what he's sort of meaning. That's where it stems from, is that.
Attachment styles.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of someone recent maybe that there's a story where they had a similar thing that's come from a habit or of growing up or anything like that?
I actually have this one client, and she really wants to better her mindset. A lot of it has come from, like, she wants to lose weight, or she wants to, like, yeah, her primary goal right now is like weight loss and like confidence and everything. But then it goes back to working on her mindset in regards to, like, I tap into her relationship with her partner because of the fact that she's always done things for him.
Yeah.
And she's not finding the happiness that she wants because she's relying on another person, right? Now, I didn't know this about her, obviously, until we start working on her mindset and what she does. She does everything because she thinks that she's going to make him happy. And so when we look at that, it's like, okay, why are you doing that for him? Why? And so when she starts to talk about it, I can't share too much, obviously, but when she starts to talk about that, she realizes that, oh my gosh, my friends, my parents, anyone that I've often connected with are not focusing on self-development, but doing things to please other people, to make them happy in life. And she's like, shit, I've just followed this whole thing. I haven't even realized that I'm just kind of like, those habits are just ingrained in her. And she's like, well, you know, she didn't even realize she picked up those habits, but she's seen her mum like cater for her dad, like a whole, like, you know, a traditional 1950s family. You go home and the mum cooks for the dad, and the dad goes to work, and it's this situation where it's just so, can't think of the word, but I mean, yeah, that literally comes from that.
It's just automated in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. As humans, like, this is our thing is survival. Our thing is, you know, just doing what we think we should do to get by in life and to be safe. Yeah. So for her, she thought safety was doing shit because, you know, that would make other people happy. And then that leads to, like, oh my gosh, I'm focusing on other people. I haven't focused on myself this whole time. So how am I meant to actually focus on my goals, weight loss, confidence, happiness, if I'm always doing that? So that's just, I don't know, that's one example of one of my clients.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, breaking it down and getting, you know, into people in a deeper level. And I think, do you think now, like, especially within the health and fitness industry, do you think it's...
I have to laugh at how you said that.
Sorry.
Continue.
Do you think it's changed now though? Like, because obviously you look back and traditionally, you know, gyms, you kind of see them as this place of just like all muscle, and it's just like testosterone shooting through the roof. And now I think it's changed a lot, and the whole health and fitness side of things is really changing into, like, it's more of a mental game now, and people actually going there not to look good, but obviously get their minds right. And then, I think, do you think
Absolutely.
that's like a huge side?
And let's normalize not knowing what the fuck you're doing in the gym either.
Yeah.
That's because people often stay away from the gym because they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's like, did anyone know what they were doing when they started?
Yeah.
And my clients often come to me and they're like, hey, Eden, like, I don't know, I just felt really awkward because I was putting on these 2.5 kg weights on the end of my bar, but the guys next to me were deadlifting like 200. And I'm like, bro, they probably started by lifting the bar with nothing on it when they were scrawny and tiny. And I'm like, who cares? Who fucking cares? That's my biggest thing. I'm like, stop worrying about what other people think about you. Fucking, they're too worried about what they're doing, about what they look like. They're not going to look at you. That's just how it is. And the thing that I focus on a lot is like I just said, not caring what other people think.
Yeah.
Because, okay, for example, let's give an example. Say you're like, I don't know, running through the bush. Let's say, no.
Running up the mountain. Why don't you running up the mountain? It's a perfect example.
Okay, let's say we're running up the mountain. There's three, same scenario, but there's three different kind of things that could come out of this.
Yeah.
You're running up the mountain, there's no one around, okay? And let's just say you trip over and you fall on your face, and let's just, you can't have dogs up the mountain. I was going to say you fall into some, like, your face goes into some dog shit or something.
You fall on the stairs and you trip over.
And like it's really awkward. It's like, so that's the scenario. Remove all the people, there's no one there. What are you going to do? You might laugh at yourself if you think it was really awkward and you're like, oh my God, I'm an egg, because that's something I would do.
Yep.
I'm clumsy as hell. And you get up and you keep going.
Yeah.
Like you just do. Add some people to that, add some people around, all of a sudden everything changes, right? Yep. Because it's like people are looking at me, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed because people just saw that I tripped over, fell on a rock and just looked really dumb. Right? But you think you look dumb because other people are there.
Yeah.
Or you're with friends, and then again, like, they're all friends that are like, you're like, it's fucking crack
funny
up.
again. I know.
So depending on who's there or what situation you're in, like, same scenario, but add some people to the mix and all of a sudden you're embarrassed, or you're like, oh my gosh, people, think less of me now, or that was, And so it's just interesting, and that's why I just have this mindset where I'm like, okay, remove everyone out of this picture right now. If I am on the bench and I get stuck and then I'm like, someone needs to help me, I'm like, I just see it as like, okay, either these people are all my friends and that's fucking crack up, or like if these people weren't here, I wouldn't be embarrassed anyway. And that's how I focus on my mindset, So it's interesting.
That's really important. And obviously you kind of transfer that now into your clients and teach them those same values.
Mm-hmm. A lot. Touch on it every single phone call every week.
Yeah.
Our conversations are really on nutrition, like what they've done in the week. I don't call them and just be like, hey, how's your week going? Like any changes you want to be made? It's like, all right, how was your week? First thing we'll do is often like celebrate. What have you done the last week that you were freaking proud of? Because the first thing people will think about themselves is something negative a lot of the time.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So do you think like now, obviously, we'll go into like you competing. Mm-hmm. So you're currently in your prep at the moment.
Yep.
You've got how many weeks left until?
6 weeks.
6 weeks, which is obviously for some people that seems like a very short amount of time, but you can get a lot done in 6 weeks. It's quite crazy.
It goes very fast, actually.
Yeah. So so obviously you get coached as well now with your nutrition, and what about the physical side? Do you do all of that yourself, or?
No, so I've coached myself for the past 2 years. You're right.
Did the camera turn off?
Yep.
We're back. Sorry, team. That the cameras that we're filming with, buddy, overheated.
Always something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Is it?
That's actually really good.
Have you never had them before?
No.
Do you want to hold them up?
Mean.
So, Adupa here. Just a cheeky little plug.
That's good.
The guys over there obviously send out a few little batches for one of the other podcasts that we've got here at 138 for hustlers. And so we're lucky enough, whenever we record, we can just grab one out of the fridge and nick it back. And these things are actually awesome,
That's really
As our mate over here says, what's your little quote?
every time.
God's piss. God's
God's
piss, mate.
juice, bro.
God's juice, not God's piss.
And God's
It's
piss.
just
And God's piss.
Both.
Both.
Oh, do you have to shake it? No.
No, don't shake it because it'll bubble up like before.
It's fucking sparkling, you loser.
But
Alright, I'm out.
yeah, these actually, honestly, like I have them when I'm editing, and the focus that I get out of it, I don't know if it's just like a bit of a placebo, but I've had them for a while now, and they're pretty good.
L-theanine? No, if it's
Yeah.
got L-theanine, really good for cognitive function.
Yeah, they just kind of help me
And
chill out a
clarity.
little bit.
But it's fully like created by neuroscientists. Like it's
Yeah.
like actual
Unreal,
legit. It's not a bullshit.
Fad.
Like yeah.
Just had to throw
Avon.
That. Just had to throw that in there.
It's not an Avon.
I was waiting for it.
But yeah, I guess I'm moving back now into your comp prep. So coaching.
Yes.
You've
Oh,
been
yes.
coaching yourself for 2 years now.
Yep.
And you're in your prep at the moment. So
Yep. I'm 6 weeks
Take
out
us through.
from my next show. It's funny so when I say I do bodybuilding, everyone's like, you get the look, like the up down look, and I'm like, I'm not big, I'm not massive. I do bikini bodybuilding.
Bikini bodybuilding, right?
So criteria comes down to looking symmetrical and lean,
Yeah.
and obviously like muscular definition, but not too much. And then you can have abs, but just the outline of the abs, and it's just a lot of it comes down to symmetry and stage presentation. That's where I pull through a lot. I'm very confident on stage, and because I'm not naturally curvy, I'm a fucking column. Thanks to my mum, I have and my dad. He's given me wide shoulders, which is great. Everyone even they ask if I'm a swimmer, or I used to get asked if I was a rugby player.
Rugby player.
No, I'm a douche. But that's about all I can do. I can run. Put me on the side. I'll be fine. And yeah, so I've learned a lot about my body and how I grow best. And I've never really taken an off season seriously to grow properly. The biggest growth that I've probably had was during lockdown in Auckland.
Yeah.
Over that 4-month lockdown, and that's because it gave me time to recover and rest because I overtrain a lot. For people who don't really know, like when you overtrain, you can't give yourself the time. You don't give your body the time to recover and actually growth and repair. Like muscle building doesn't happen when you're at the gym under the bar or pulling a freaking
Yeah, I think that's the
Thing.
biggest misconception
Right?
that people have, eh?
that like, yes, you're going to get the pump because you've got oxygen going to your muscles. Cool. You're going to look swole. Everything's dilated. Yeah, you're going to look bigger whilst you're doing it. There's more blood going to your muscles. But that's not when you grow. You grow when you're outside of the gym. You grow when you're sleeping. You grow when you're eating. You know, that's the recovery side of things. Because when muscle's broken down, right, when muscle tissue is broken, you're basically going like this. Like, picture a circle. You're going like this. And then when you're repairing, the way that your muscles grow is because something comes in and it fills that gap. So every time that gap is filled, that's your muscle growing during recovery. So, yeah, I've learned, going back to I've become plant-based. I did a prep strict vegan because I'm like, I'm just going to try vegan. I've done keto before. I like experimenting on my body so then I can translate that into other aspects and teach other people what I know.
Yep.
A lot of it comes from self-education. You can study all you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't continue that study in your own time, it's going to go in one ear and out the other ear. And yeah, I learned a lot. And then for this prep, I'm focusing a lot on my clients. So I'm prepping clients for the same show in the same division.
Wow.
They'll be in one division that's first timers, that's different from what I'm doing. But the novice, and because I'm still a novice competitor, I'm not a pro by any means. I haven't got my pro card. Don't even know if that's somewhere where I want to go with it. But yeah, they'll be in first timers. I'll be in a couple of different things. I've got a coach because I was investing a lot of time into their prep and kind of putting mine on the back burner a little bit. So I still want to do well. And yeah, I have it's just about learning to trust what he's telling me to do. And letting go of my own ways and processes. And yeah, so it's going well. Some days I eat 400 grams of carbs. which 10:30 at night, I'm having a smoothie with 150 grams of oats, raw oats, 250 grams of rice, and half a scoop of protein powder. Blend that up, chuck some ice in, and I wake up with the biggest fucking headache. It's because I'm shit at time
Rice
management.
in your smoothie.
I have been
This
at
is
your
'cause I'm
house
behind.
watching you do it.
That is filthy.
You-
Holy.
Honestly, when I tell you, like, I will do anything to, like, stick to what I have to do, I will. Like, I'm disciplined as fuck in myself. And that's just how I am. And you have to be if you want to do well and succeed in anything. You have to be disciplined and committed and just no excuses. That's the thing.
Yeah. Do you think that's where that motivation comes from as well? Like, because obviously I've seen the stuff you do and you're so motivated to getting it done and pushing through. Obviously, you know, sharing your struggles before, trusting your gut. But yeah, do you think that discipline as well obviously translates through to that motivation?
Yeah, definitely. I just think that because, and it comes back to failure again.
Yeah.
Just learning every single time and just keep pushing through even when it's freaking difficult, because the way that I like to look at it is it's going to be hard, but what's going to happen if I stopped today or if I didn't take that step today or didn't do that thing today? You're one step behind then. So what's going to be better? Like being one step behind all the time just because you're like, oh, I'm not going to go to the gym today, or go to the gym anyway. Obviously, if you're sick or whatever, then chill.
Yeah.
But you've just got to do it because then at least you're not becoming stagnant, or at least you're not just trying to catch your tail all the time. So
So all those little 1%ers, they add up real quick. I think, you know, like even a few people asked me, I mean, when I was coaching a little bit in the gym, you know, some people are like, oh, you know, would message like, I don't even really want to go to the gym today. But I'd even tell them, I'm like, even just driving there and actually creating that habit, like even if you've never been before, even just driving to the car park to actually get yourself used to going there.
you might sit in the car for about
Yeah, but it creates that habit. Stepping foot in the door, you don't even have to lift a weight to start off with, but it's actually just
do
slowly
it.
building up and learning that lesson for yourself. And then you kind of get comfortable, get used to that environment.
Yep,
And then, obviously, you know, the motivation comes and starts to increase a little bit more.
absolutely. And ask for help. And I think, on the topic of like just going to the gym, it's like, okay, well, you know a bit about habit stacking.
Yes, it works very well. Very,
Habit
very
stacking,
well.
because of Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Awesome book.
I've just started reading it. Need to keep going.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can you do that will actually help you gain that motivation to then, like, fuck motivation. Like I always say that, like, motivation comes and goes, and that's okay. But it's that drive and it's that discipline.
Do you think it's staying true to your passion?
Yep.
As a lot of it? Like, rather than saying motivation, how about we change the word and say, how do you stick to your passion? And then
Or
obviously
do everything with purpose.
with purpose, that's better. Purpose.
Hey, inspired by purpose.
Fucking knew you were gonna say that.
Right?
Yeah.
Do everything with purposeful intent. And why are you doing that?
Mm.
You know? Ask yourself that all the time. For sure. But chuck some gym clothes in your car.
Yep.
Shoes in your car. Often another way to kind of spark that, you know, okay, I'm going to go to the gym now, is like for a girl, something as simple, or a guy if you have long hair, something as simple as if you've had your hair tied up even all day, take your hair out, re-tie your hair. It's just that thing of like preparing for training or preparing for what you're doing, you know? Simple things. Yeah.
That's cool. I think we're probably going to wrap it up now. We've gone through obviously so much and lots and lots of valuable information there. But I think we're going to touch on one last thing. So obviously this is called the Good Times podcast.
Yep.
So one thing from your life where you've had a good time that really stood out to you.
Ooh.
Could be personal, training, anything. Just to finish us off.
Sending it at R&V.
Sending it at
I'm going to leave it on that.
We're going to leave it on that. We'll see you on the next episode. You can take what you want from that. Thanks for tuning in, team. This is the Good Times Club with Eden.
Thank you.
You can check her out on Instagrams. Your Insta is now...
It's changed. EEDEN Jade.
Awesome. And she's got links in her bio there, which will lead you to all of her little sites. So cool.
Only friends.
Only
Right.
Thanks, team. We'll catch you later. See you on the next ep.